Just let me know. Do you think
No,
it's too late for you to join tech?
No, it's not too late. I've had
Okay, sorry,
stories of
who's
people.
speaking?
My name is
Who's
Said.
speaking? What? Said. Okay, nice. Okay, go ahead.
So I've had testimonies of people that started coding at the age of 40, thereabouts, and they're doing well.
Good, good, good. That's the right answer, Said. Thank you for answering. So for tech, right? It's never too late. I can remember after my training at Wave, a lawyer friend actually discouraged me to get into tech. That is too late for me. But here we are, right? So the same way any other person that is actually part of the participants thinking that, oh, it's too late for me, I'm actually getting into it probably late. It's not late for you. It depends on your passion, your motivation, and your drive, basically, at the end of the day. So I just wanted to put that out there so that we just have an open mind about probably learning and eventually transitioning, right? So like we all know it, tech is actually the future. So it's in the 21st century, right? It's one of the most prominent career paths anyone could actually take at the moment, right? But here's the first thing, right? Aside from just trying to get into tech, you need to ask yourself a very, very important question. Why do I want to get into tech, right? So it's very, very important to ask yourself this. Could it be because you're not earning enough where you are? Could it be that you want to earn more? Could it be that you want to meet better people? You want to build a solution that could change your world? Could it be that it could be anything, right? So basically, you need to understand the why, because here's the thing: understanding the why you want to actually enter tech determines how far you would go, right? So it's more like what keeps you awake at night when things are going wrong, because things would go wrong. It's going to be hard along the way. So it's very, very important to get to understand and know the reason why you're actually going into tech, right? So just ensure you know why. Some people want to do it for the money. It's fine, right? I know a couple of people that actually entered tech because of the money, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, the country is not in a good shape. Inflation here and there, the naira is not performing well, and a lot of people would um, let a lot of people would like to earn more, and probably in dollars or in crypto, right? So that's just another thing. So yeah, you need to understand the why. So I wanted to go through basically a couple of reasons why people join tech at the end of the day, right? One, it could be just to earn better. So for instance, I know a couple of people that before tech they were earning like, let's say, 80K, right? But after tech, um, they've been able to like 10x their salaries, right? So 10x, I mean 800K. There are people that are in almost 10 million in Nigeria as techies, and they've had like 2 years experience. Do you get? Surprising, right? That's how crazy tech is. And I don't mean it's when you actually convert it from US dollars and all that. So maybe if you want to earn in foreign currency or all that, yeah, it could be one of your reasons. I don't know what motivates you. A lot of people, money motivate them, and that's totally fine. I don't argue with that. So it could be money, you go for it. It could be to build a successful career. So a lot of people, more like before tech, I use myself as an example. Before tech, I used to work various places. Today I'm probably working at I'm working as a marketing executive at one startup. I'm co-founding one. Again, I'm working as a project manager. Another one, I'm doing that. I'm doing sales. But basically, how you would know an individual that really, really has a streamlined, should I say, career, right? Like more like a pathway with regards to career. right? It's somebody that within a while, the person just works in a particular industry, and they still have a particular position, like in a similar position within that industry over a period of time. So, because at the end of the day, if you just, okay, today you're a waiter, tomorrow you're in a barbering shop, next tomorrow you're actually doing sales. If people look through your LinkedIn, I don't think they will really see that pathway, you actually defining your path with regards to your career, right? So it could be just to actually define your career, a particular path you want to take for your entire life. That could be it, right? The next thing could be just to solve people's problems and make a change, right? So for instance, it could be that you are a problem solver, right? It could be that you don't like how a couple of things actually work. For instance, I have a friend that's just relocated to the UK, and she had issues paying for her school fees. She had to actually get the CBN rates and everything. And she's a techie. And right now, she's actually planning to build something, a remittance product that could enable students in Nigeria make their payments directly to the UK, to schools in the UK, without going through the CBN. I don't know how she wants to do that, but she's passionate about it. Would that happen? Maybe, right? It could be something that actually follows you, right? I know a couple of people in the tech industry that actually became co-founders or founders or started working in tech because they really, really want to solve a problem, a peculiar problem that has been giving them issues. So they understood the pain points, and then they made a step further to just solve that problem, right? So it could be one of the whys for you, right? So that could be it. Then another thing is just to assess better opportunities. Um, so um, I'm so sorry for saying this, but I'm going to say it. But thank God for COVID. Um, like COVID actually gave tech a lot of access, right? So the world is kind of decentralized right now. As a Nigerian, you can get to work in companies in the UK, in the US. You um, can get to work in companies in Singapore, Canada, Netherlands, Berlin. I mean, that's the case right now, because at the end of the day, they realize that remote work is possible, and it's possible for Africans to work from any part of the world, right? So what does that do for you? It gives you more access to better opportunities at the end of the day. I mean, who would want to earn in euros or pounds or US dollars, right? So, but the only thing you have to know is that you need to know your onions. You need to understand what you're doing. You need to have a track record. You need to you need to have put in the work over time for you to be able to qualify for those kind of opportunities. So the why for you could be just to access better opportunities. Maybe that's the case. Yeah. Um, then the next thing is build more technical skills. It could be that you just want to, you just don't want to build soft skills, probably just like what you've been taught in training, like emotional intelligence, analytical thinking, problem solving skills, job to be like, it could be that you want to just move away from that and probably get your hands dirty into various things, right? Something very technical, something very scientific, right? It could be that. Then you now say, okay, tech is the place I want to be, because probably it demands a lot of brain work for you. So it could be one of your whys, right? And I can understand if one of the whys, I mean, some of the whys I actually mentioned is not one of the reasons why you want to actually get into tech. But then I don't know what fuels you or what actually wants to makes you want to get into tech. But then I believe it's not far away from these things I just mentioned, right? So that's just it for that. So I would like to I'd like to ask, just in case anybody has any question currently, let me know before I go ahead. Or I don't know. Maybe do I take questions after I'm done?
Yes, please. You can just write it
Okay.
down and ask after the session. Thank you.
All right, that's fine. Okay. So okay, guys. So the next thing is the next one is there are various things you need to take note of, right? If you want to get into tech. I'm really talking to the people that are really intrigued and really want to get into it. Of course, congratulations that you want to get into tech. It's a good thing. But first, there are some things that are worthy of note because you want to get into tech. Things like it is you need to understand that it is true that you don't have a lot of skill sets that is needed to get you to the door, right? Like in terms of technicalities, right? It's pretty hard to get in. But there are things you have to consider, right? Or should I say, there are specific set of skills that could get you to the door, right? I'm also talking about things that actually got me to the door when I started. So things like I'm going to be mentioning them. Like I have like four on my list. The number one thing is leadership. So leadership. Why I'm saying leadership is that a couple of us. I don't know. There are a couple of people here that in training, um, you were divided into groups, and some people were leaders in that group, right? So there are people that were class captains during your batches and every other thing. So these individuals could literally say they have leadership skills, and uh, these leadership skills could actually help you navigate into tech at the end of the day. Because of course, when you're getting recruited, the recruiter could actually ask you, have you had any leadership experience? Because the role actually wants somebody that has actually had a leadership experience in the past, right? You should be able to demonstrate that and show that in the past you've been able to lead a team. So why I'm also saying this is that it's more like a transferable skill that you should have, right? It's basically most of the things that people say when they want to get recruited. Like for instance, okay, fine, you you don't have the skills, you don't have a technical skill, right? So what are you going to bring? What are you going to get in differently? You could mention the fact that you've been a leader. Probably you've been a class rep in school. A lot of people don't know they even have their leadership skills. For instance, you've been a class rep in school and the numerical strength of your class is like 120, right? It's a leadership skill. You could even talk about various initiatives that you were able to carry out while you were a class rep, or probably while in school you had some extracurricular activities or probably organizations that you belong to. You should be able to demonstrate and tell them, okay, fine, like there are various things I did when I was here, and I was able to lead and actually get results, right? So it's one of the things that people could. Can you hear me? Okay. So
Yes, we can hear you.
okay, fine. So it's one of the things that you could actually talk to recruiters about, or it's some of the things that you should take note that, okay, these are skills that could get me into the front door. So the next thing is problem solving skills. So problem solving skills in the sense that you should be a problem solver. You should be somebody that is curious about solving problems, right? I don't think you actually succeed in tech if you're comfortable with the way things are, right? I rarely doubt that. So it's a skill that is hard to find. Of course, it's fine. Not everybody should be a problem solver. It's basically fine. You might be among the people that actually enjoys the problem that is being solved. That's also fine, right? So of course, people need paying customers, right? So but at the end of the day, for people that are actually techies, right? You need to you need to be a problem solver. You need to be somebody that actually looks at the problem. Okay, I don't like the way this is. Can't we do it this way? Like innovate on that, right? That's one thing. That's a skill that could actually get you to the front door. Um, Another thing to take note of is like having an analytical mind. So analytical thinking, it's something that is top here. It's everybody that is very analytical and actually thinks logically without being biased. If you're that kind of person, it's something that could also not just get you into the door, but also keep you in the job. Because another thing you need to understand is that getting into tech is one, staying in tech or in that particular tech role is another thing. So you need to be somebody that actually thinks critically over time. Then the next thing is the ability to communicate. I also know that this has been taught in training, proper communication, active listening, and all that. So these things are very, very important. When I talk about communication, I'm talking about interpersonal skills, how you relate to people around you. Are you a people person? How when people talk, do you listen? Can you remember everything they said? The things you remember, can you write them down and communicate to somebody that was not even there? Like these things can actually keep you at a job, not just get you a job, right? I believe there's actually a way HR professionals actually check out for this, but at the end of the day, um, what still gets you to the door or keeps you in the job whenever you even eventually get the job is actually your ability to communicate. I'll take myself as an example. Um, as a product manager, you would have to know how to communicate at every point in time. So that's just that about it. If you're not able to communicate, the way you talk to developers is going to be different from the way you talk to designers, right? There are some terminologies you shouldn't use for a designer that you can use for a developer, right? Some technical terms. Also, there are some terms you have to only use for probably customer success people. There are some terms you need to just use for marketing people. There are some terms you use for top level managers and lower level managers and every other thing. So you should be able to communicate and dissect things at every point in time. It's a top tier skill. It's something that you need to understand. And then there could be meetings whereby you don't even have context of what's going on, but you just have to listen through and document what you actually got from that meeting and then present. And then I keep saying this all the time. If you also want to get into tech, you can't hide, right? So it's not like whereby somebody will be doing all the work. If something goes wrong, you have to answer for it. So your ability to communicate is very, very important, right? So those are the four things I wanted to just highlight at the end of the day. Moving on, the next thing I wanted to talk about is what area of tech can I specialize on? So I'm like, I know a lot of you must have been asking, okay, what area should I actually specialize on? Should I go for this? Should I go for this? What are the skill sets that are being needed for those areas? Of course, not everybody is capable of taking on every role or probably succeeding in all of them, right? So you need to know and define the ones that you want to get into. Of course, remember, we've talked about the why, right? Why do you want to get into tech, right? And then I've also talked about the things you have to take note of because you need to be really, really self-aware. You need to know that even without technical skills, there are some skills that you have at the moment that could actually get you to the door. So, and then you should also know that there is no age restrictions to tech, right? So that's it. So that's why I'm actually getting into areas of specialization in tech. So first off is the coding and technical related tech skills parts. So it's more like three categories, right? So I have number one is coding and technical related tech skills. The second one is no coding and non-technical related tech skills. And then the third one is interconnected technical or non-technical skills. So I'll be going through this one after the other and also be telling you what they mean and probably the various examples of the career paths that you could actually take to become part of the individuals that operate under those categories, right? So yeah, so let's go. First of all, before I even talk about technical related tech skills. Can someone one of the participants tell me what do they understand by the word technical? Anyone? Maybe I have a price for that person. Maybe.
Special skills of creativity. It requires creativity.
Technical skills, creativity. Okay.
Something that is not the norm. So
something that is not the norm.
Yeah, it requires some technical inputs. Something new, a new input to just take it away from the mainstream that brings out a solution out of creativity.
Okay, that's fine. Awesome. I also like to hear from another person. Any other person?
Okay. I think my name is Said. I think coding and technical related skills has to do with writing in a language that the computer understands.
Okay.
While non-coding, you don't have to write in binary language or whatever.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. You guys are basically correct. My own definition is going to actually tweet towards the second person, invariably, because coding technicality has to do with a lot of technical know-how. For instance, I would say it's just abilities and knowledge that is being needed to perform specific tasks, right? And another thing you need to know about technical skills is that technical related skills in tech is that it's very practical. It's not theoretically based, right? So it's something very, very practical. It's something that, of course, it can be mechanical, it could be mathematical, it could be scientific, right? So it could be any of those. So you need to be somebody that really, really digs deep into things, numbers, algorithms, and all that, right? So basically, that's it for technical skills. So technical skills are more like areas of specialization that has to do with coding. Yes, coding. That's just it. Programming. That's just it. So and then those areas are very, 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 very practical. You have to be very, very practical about it. I kind of also listed some examples, which are coding and programming, software engineering. What I mean by that is front end engineering, back end engineering. So front end engineering is more like being able to know how to write HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? More like front end is just like, let's say, I'm just trying to break it down for a couple of people that are here that don't understand a couple of things in tech. So front end engineering has to do with more like imagine a graphic designer has given you something, right? Has designed a website, a graphic designer. Although in tech, we don't call them graphic designers, we call them UI UX designers or product designers. They've designed something, a website, and then they give it to the front end person. The front end person will be the one to pick those colors, pick those diagrams, and represent them exactly, but in code, right? So if you dig deep into front-end engineering, you would understand these things. And then back-end engineering has to do with you calling APIs and providing APIs, endpoints, webhooks. More like it has to do with, excuse me. So it has to do with the logical side of development, right? Of engineering. Like it's more, it has to do with the business logic of tech, basically, right? So that's just it about that. And I just had to explain that before I also list all the examples of technical related skills. Another one is data analytics, data analytics and analysis, right? So for instance, a friend of mine that just relocated to the UK, she was like, see, like if she knew, she would have actually learned data analytics because it's in demand. In Nigeria, we're still into tech. Tech is the new oil. Everybody's getting into tech. But in the UK, everybody's doing analytics and analysis, right? So it's a huge thing that could actually keep you in the UK at the end of the day. So she was even advising me to get into it, but then would I do that? Let's see. Data analytics, more like data visualization, being able to make sense of data, make informed decisions with data, numbers that are being presented to you, being able to fetch these data as well. So that's another technical side aspect you can focus on. And then we have mobile and web development, being able to build a website or probably build an app, right? It could be Piggyvest app, Cowrywise app. It could be any app at all. So that's just that. And then WordPress development. So there are specific things you need to actually know how to code if you're also a WordPress development person. So these are just basically the examples in that area. And then the second thing, like I mentioned earlier, is the no coding or non-technical related tech skills, right? So for this area, it might actually include a couple of soft skills. I know during your training, a lot of you did things with regards to soft skills. This is where it comes in handy. And then these are areas I feel like a couple of people and a lot of people on this call could actually venture into at the end of the day. So, and these soft skills could include a couple of things like interpersonal skills, leadership skills, business skills, situation awareness skills. So more like situation awareness skills. I mean, there are various scenarios that things could actually go on, and then you need to be able to know the best way to actually approach that solution. It could also be people's skills, like ability to manage people or work with people at the end of the day. It could also be the ability to work in a team. It's not everybody that loves working in a team, but if you're that person, if you're that person that has leadership skills, um, interpersonal skills, you know how to communicate properly, you have situational awareness skills, you know what to do at every point in time. It's okay if you don't, but if you do, this is actually your area as well. Business skills, being able to relate to people very well, people skills. This is actually an area you should also focus on. And for the examples, I listed a few, which is human resources, product marketing, human resources. I mean, being a technical recruiter. So there are people that they'll look at your CV, they will say, okay, they will fix an introductory call with you. So those are technical recruiters. The next thing is product marketing. Product marketers are like, if a new feature is out, that wants to release it out to the market. The next one is brand communications. Brand communications, I mean, there are individuals actually try as much as possible to create brand awareness to the public about a business, right, or what a business actually represents. They give a feel to the business, probably through the branding of the logo, the colors they're actually using for the business. All these things actually mean something. So it could be an area you could actually look into, but focused on tech. There's sales development, there's customer success. It's also the same thing as customer service. There's user experience research, more like people that research about features, know whether it's the right thing to actually build at a particular point in time, and then provide data, and then the product manager and every other person, all other stakeholders could actually get involved and get it built. We also have tech content writing and marketing. These are individuals that actually write about tech basically. Let's say they could be former front end or back end engineers or software engineers. right? They could just be writing for a blog, telling people how to go about a particular code or a particular product in regards to technicalities as well. Although that could actually be also non-technical, as the case may be. So another one is community management. Community managers are more like people that manage a particular community of individuals that are tilted towards a particular profession. For instance, there's a community for product managers, there's a community for designers, there's a community for software engineers. It could be anything, right? So there's community management as a career path. That's just it for that. Then another one is, the last one, which is also the third one that I actually mentioned, is interconnected technical or non-technical skills, right? So these ones, it's more like you have to have a bit of the two worlds, right? You need to know this, you need to know that, you get. So what it requires technical understanding and a bit of non-technical understanding. So that's just it for this. And the examples that fall into this category is also like what I'm actually doing now, product management. So there's a little bit of technicalities into it. Also, we have product design, being able to design a website, design an app. Also UI UX design, which is also the same thing, but that's another name. You also have product sales engineering. You have digital marketing. You have technical writing. And also you have software testing or quality assurance engineers. So these are people that get to whatever that is being built, they just test it out and know that it's working. If it's not working, they push it back before it gets to the customers or the users. That's just it about non-technical or interconnected technical skills, basically. So more like I said, it's a bit of the two worlds. You should know a little bit of technicalities and a little bit of non-technical stuff for you to actually thrive in this area. I think the next thing I wanted to talk about is I wanted to just talk about resources, where you could actually get resources, where you could actually get to learn, right? You could learn places like at places like the W3 schools. If you want to learn how to code, you can. If you want to do data analytics or science, it's there. Everything you need is there. It's for free, right? Amazing. So it's for free. And then for and other things, like anything you want to learn generally, not just in tech, right? But I actually put it out there as well, is Coursera. So the platform Coursera, you get to learn courses, any course you want. Everything I've actually listed, there are courses for it, and it doesn't cost much. Like 4,535, you're on your way. But the crazy thing is that people think I think because of the sponsorships they've gotten, they subsidize those rates. So you might think those courses you can finish it in a day. You can't, because the assessments at the end of the day. So unless you are a genius or you've actually been exposed to that initially, you can finish it immediately. But then I know people that have also finished it within 1 week or like in a month. It depends on how motivated you are. Because here's the thing about tech or whatever you want to do in life, you have to do it like your life depends on it, right? So I'm not just saying that, I'm also saying it because of how I actually got in as well, because I had to excuse me, sorry. So I had to really look at it in various ways, whereby I said to myself, it's either I do this or not. So I had some trainings I engaged in, and I made sure I was still working there, and I made sure at night I don't sleep. I made sure I actually finished those courses, and they were paid courses, right? So yeah, you should also do the same thing. You could go to Coursera, pay for courses, Udemy. Okay, the name of the free sites that are in the resources. I think there's a there's a slide that is shared to you. Just check it in the chat box. You'll see it there. Then there's Udemy, there's Udacity. You can get paid courses there. And there's Product Dive, which is actually the first training I ever took. that got me into the door. So it's a certification. So I took the course, and after that, yeah, there's Utiva where you can learn data analytics and all that. There's also Alt School. You can learn product design, product management, front end, back end there. I think it's for free, right? So you can also check that out. There's also Student. So Student is a place whereby you can go and learn. And after you're done with your learning, you get to have an income sharing agreement with them. And then you can pay back when you get the job. It's a well-paying job, not an internship job. So it's also a way to learn. I also enrolled for that at some point. So there's also Solo Learn for those that actually don't have laptops, they have mobile phones. So you can learn on front-end engineering or back-end engineering on that. And then there is also Andela. So Andela, although Andela is for actually people that are already experienced in the field, but it's something you could also explore. There has been cases whereby people that already know experienced could actually get to the front door and every other thing. So these are the places you would actually look out for certifications, or where you could really, really learn these things and actually get into tech at the end of the day. Although I didn't put this in the slide, another thing that is actually missing out is LinkedIn Learning. So you could actually do a training on LinkedIn Learning. And then most importantly, I know this was said in training, and maybe a lot of people take it for granted, but I'm also going to say this. Your LinkedIn is who you are. So treat it like treat it like treat it like your CV, right? Go to the studio, take a very good snapshot, right? To cost you nothing, to be honest, because a lot of you spend a lot of time, or you guys spend a lot of money in that time and calling people that are not meant to be called. I'm just saying, Sha. So, so I don't look back. So, take a good snapshot. Maybe go to a studio like maybe 3K or so, or there about 1K if you're lucky enough to find that. So take a good snapshot, go to your LinkedIn, put a very good picture, maybe you on suit, just your face, right? Maybe you smiling or something. There's something a smile actually does. Um, After that, you can also, there's a headline on your LinkedIn you need to edit. There are some things you need to really edit, your bio, something really, really catchy. Words that you have to clean and write again to be very catchy, because at the end of the day, you need to be very visible. It's not enough to actually learn these skills and not be visible. Or more, you go broke, die. You get so that's just the thing. So try as much as possible to position yourself to be very visible for recruiters to hire you. You get. So I'm also going to say this because at the end of the day, even some of the things I learned in the past, like last year, when I was done learning them, I went on LinkedIn and then posted about them. I was like, yo, this is what I did. This is what I did. I love the learning process. Made me more visible. People were actually congratulating me. But what I didn't know is that technical recruiters could reach out to me on LinkedIn and be like, yo, are you available at the moment? Do you want this job? Stuff like that. So your LinkedIn could be a life changer for you. I'll also use myself as an example. The work I'm actually doing now, it was through LinkedIn I got the job, right? So treat your LinkedIn like your CV. Like don't joke with it. Ensure that you use it religiously and very, very well. So that's just basically it, right? I think that's it for me. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I think I can take any questions at the moment, right? So yeah, next thing, I think finally I'll just end with this note, even before the questions, right? A lot of people might think it's not easy. Like, I mean, it's easy to get into, it might not be easy to get into tech, but staying in tech is hard. But what I believe is that once you get through the door, it's easier to stay there. But it's also harder to also stay there and remain relevant, right? So it's not like an industry whereby you have to learn one thing and just stop. It has to be a continuous learning. You don't stop because at every point in time, there's always a kid from the block that wants to be better than you. So is that for you, whether you want to still stay where you are or probably in less than 2 years, yeah, where nobody could actually touch you, right? So the thing is that it's something you just have to take serious if it's something you want to really do and transition into. So I think that's more like a piece of advice from me. But is it going to be easy? No. But is it worth it? Yes, it is. So yeah, that's just it for me. Thank you guys for listening.
Okay, someone has a question. Oluwatobi has a question for you.
Yeah, thank you
Okay,
very much.
I can take that.
All right, so basically my question is, you mentioned the three categories of tech skills that we could learn, but you mentioned some examples as well. But my question is, which category does UI UX design fall under? Because I've always been fascinated about that, and then I just really need someone to kind of clarify some things for me.
Okay, UI UX design is for interconnected technical. So you need to have a little bit of technicality, like you need to know a couple of technical stuff you need to know how to combine colors. Those are technical things, but people don't know. It doesn't still just involve coding and all that. But then there's a little bit of you need to know how to combine colors, shapes, and all that. You need to understand UX. You need to understand data, and probably you can use data to design what you want to design and present the visuals, right? So yeah, it's it's a non-technical skill, but it's also interconnected, right? So yeah, hopefully I hope that answered your question.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
definitely.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Where does tech support fall under?
Tech support. Tech support falls on the interconnected because you need to understand a bit of technicalities, right? So because if an individual tech supports like tech supports tech support is technical. Yeah, sorry. Tech support is technical. So my experience as tech support is with a tech support person is more like people that give you work tools, hand over work tools to you. If your work tool has a problem, if there's a software to buy, and every other thing that wants to take care of it. So there's a lot of technicalities with regards to that. If not, they wouldn't even know how to install a couple of things on a laptop, right? So yeah, of course, yeah, tech support is technical.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any more questions?
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Anthony. Thank you very much for this section, particularly this program you talk about. Like, for example, me, like, I believe and I think tech is not something easy from the beginning. But
Okay.
but for the things you like this morning, I think I can go with it and I can learn something because I asked for this slide also thanks to Ebe. Yeah, sent this slide to me. So I can open and see something to go along with. Thank you very much.
All right. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. I think there's another question.
Yes, Larry, your hand is up. You come off mute and ask your question.
Okay. Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, I want to go into UI or UX design, but I've been trying to study some course actually. And at the moment, like, even last night, I just paid for a course at Udemy to study it more. But I don't know, somehow it's confusing me because it's like it's the same thing. Maybe the UI and UX are the same. And based on the videos I've watched online, they're telling me I'm going to learn it for like a period of 6 months, period of 6 to 1 year. So that's the issue. And I don't know how hard it is and how often the work, the UI UX design can fetch money.
Okay.
That's
Okay. So your question is, you don't know how long?
yeah.
Is that
Learn,
is that how long it would take for you to learn?
learn, and is
Okay.
it something very like? Is it something available that people are ready to buy if I could learn it? People need the service. You know what people need the service at the moment now? That's the second question. Okay.
Okay. First of all, for UI UX, right? Product design. Funny enough, that's what I started with, right? So, but for me, I didn't know how to combine colors. I didn't know how to. I mean, probably when I'm being given a brief, I didn't understand that. So I kind of understood that, right? So that's why I pivoted to product management. But for your question, how long it could take for you to learn? To be honest, I can't really place a time because I learned that for almost a year. And I still couldn't get it. Some people learn it. If you're experienced in graphic design, I mean, you know how to combine colors, you understand color theory, um, good with pictures and all that. Like you have, like, I mean, you can translate a word into a design, right? It could take as little as probably 2-3 months and you're good, right? But it could be self-taught and every other thing at the end of the day. So it's something that requires that's one. How long it could take. I can't really place a number. It takes some people 1 year, 2 years. But the thing is that you can't focus on just learning. You have to do something, and you have to do something and present your work to people, right, and show that you've actually done something. Because at the end of the day, you learn. I think it was part of the mistakes I made. I was just learning. I was not ready to put out work. So sometimes when you learn, practicalize, push out work, let people see it, right? And then for the things you actually require at the moment, I think you need a good laptop, right? You need a good laptop that has good visuals, probably a good graphic card. You need at least a Core i5 should be fine, right? Probably could hang. But also for me, I kind of feel like you should find a way to join probably a community or a training that could enable you learn with other people.
Yeah, Larry, does that answer your question?
Yes, I get. Thank you for the question, for the answer.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony, for. Okay. Does anybody else have any question they want to ask?
I have one
Okay.
question. Sorry.
Okay, so Mama. It's okay.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
So basically what I
Sorry,
want to ask is
we have to hold on. Anthony I think
Right.
he's having internet challenges, so let's just wait for him to come
Oh.
back online for your question.
all right, no problem. No problem.
Okay, while he's having network issues, please write out your name, number, network provider, and your job status, please.
Also, please, can everyone include their last name? Don't forget to include your surname, because I see Larry, there's no surname there. So let us know what your surname is as well. Thank you.
Okay, Anthony is back. Um, go ahead with your question.
All right. So basically, the question I wanted to ask is, okay, I hear about building a portfolio, but basically I don't really know what it means. All I know is that, okay, when you're learning a particular tech skill and you're trying to put yourself out there, they talk about you building a portfolio. So I don't really understand what it means. So I was hoping you could actually shed more light on that for me.
Hello, Anthony, can you hear us? I think there might still be a little bit of internet challenge. Just pardon, and bear with us, please. Anthony, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Sorry about that. I think I don't know. The call actually just took me off. I don't know how that happened, but I'm glad to be back. So, I heard someone talk about portfolio. Please, can you just repeat, just so that I'll just attend to that ASAP.
All right. Okay. All right. So I hear this all the time. So basically, they say when you're learning a particular tech skill, you should never forget to build a portfolio so that you can put yourself out there, just for potential recruiters to know what you do and stuff like that. But I don't really know like what that means in details. Like what exactly does it mean to build a portfolio?
As a designer, as a software engineer, which one? Okay, that's fine. But
as a UI UX designer, basically.
Okay, UI UX designer, that's fine. Okay, so for portfolio, right? I think for portfolio, that's very important because you need to. It's from your portfolio that people would actually get to know what you've done and what you're capable of, your skill set, right? A lot of people will ask you for that. So is your question based on how to go about it or whether it's true? Is that your question?
How to go about it? Yeah, what exactly goes in the portfolio? I mean, do you include projects that you do while you are learning or things that you do when you're already like established?
Okay, for starters, since you're actually looking for an entry position, provide things that you are, provide projects that you've done while you were learning. That's what would actually let them know, okay, this guy should actually take an intern position, right? Of course, you're not a pro yet. So when you become a pro, it's fine. Of course, you need to do your UX research, user experience research. Then do your wireframes. When you're done with that, both low fidelity, high fidelity wireframes. When you're done with that, present your findings, present your high fidelity wireframes with your colors and what informed your design decisions and all that. So you need to, once you're done with that, right? I think that should be able to get you to the front door. But of course, you should have a portfolio. And then there are resources you could actually use and do that. We have Notion, Notion.com. Check out Notion.com. It's actually free. People use it for documentations and all that. So it's more like a no-code tool. So more like drag and drop. You could use that. Of course, if you know how to design in Figma, you can also use Figma as a particular page in Figma as your portfolio. So there are a lot of ways to go about it. But first, you don't have to wait until you're a pro before you have a portfolio or put badass works inside there, right? That could be you actually pushing yourself back. People know that people can just start things. And then here's the case, right? There's a wave of Nigerians leaving the country, and especially young people that are in tech. So there's a lot of room now for a lot of other people that actually need to get into tech. So if you're willing to learn, if you don't have much experience, it's a good place to start. Nobody can. Within a year, you have to be consistent with your learning, of course. So within a year, you could actually grow so much that you could probably just 10x your salary. It's possible. I don't know any other place whereby you could actually 10x your salary except tech. I really don't know in this country right now. I don't think there's any other place, unless probably the person's still in Sha. so that's just it. I think it just depends on you at the end of the day. Okay, hope I answered your question. All right.
Do we have another question? Ike Che Adaobi, please go ahead with your question. Adaobi, are you with us? You can ask your question.
No, sorry, I don't really have a question. Sorry.
Oh, I see your hand up. Deborah Akwan, you have a question?
Oh, sorry, that was a mistake.
Okay. I think there's one in the chat box.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Okay. Team, you guys are doing a very good job, and also thanks to our facilitator, Mr. Anthony. This is very good. Thank you very much. I'll say this came at the right time for me. A few days ago, a friend of mine came up with an idea, more like a job offer for a tech company. And so I want to ask, for someone who doesn't have an idea about what tech really is, how long is it going to take me? How long is it going to take me to know more about it? How long is it going to take me to become will I say professional? Yeah. How long is it going to take me? What are those things I need to learn? The position actually was okay.
What's the position? Tell me about the position. Go ahead.
Okay, he said it's a sales manager. Okay, he said it's a sales manager. So since I actually don't know anything about tech, I am still considering it.
Just to ask, what does the company do? Is it really a tech company? What's their solution like? Can you walk me through that?
Okay, I actually didn't give me a rundown, but from what I was told was they actually need investors for now. That was what he said. So currently looking for a sales manager or something like that.
Okay, so from my understanding, they're bootstrapping, it's a startup that is still probably in the ideation stage. Maybe they have a product more like an MVP at the moment. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So what I can tell you is that sales manager is fine. I would advise you to take up the role, whatever the pay is. But while you're in that role, start doing your research about various areas in tech you would like to go into. And then I can't overstress this enough. You need to do like you need to assess yourself as a person, right? Whatever you want to do in tech, I did it to myself as well. You need to assess yourself as a person. What are the things you're actually good at? Am I good in writing? Am I good in sales? Do I know how to talk to people and convince them to buy a product? Am I good in leading? Like, am I a very good communicator? Am I a weak communicator? You need to know these things, right? So I kind of feel like first off, how to know there's no basic, there's no formula out there to know how long it can actually take you to become a professional at the end of the day. What I can say is that it depends on you as an individual, right? What drives you? Like I don't know, like okay, I'll just have to say this, right? For me, what drove me into tech was I was like, enough is enough. Sapa, you get. so, so the day I made that decision, and I had a lot of my friends in tech, so I could literally see the change in their lives. I could see that this guy could fly to Dubai and do stuff. This guy had freedom. He could work from home. He doesn't have to jump bus and go to work, right? For instance, for me, I don't think I've not I don't think I've not worked for a company for the past 1 year plus that would want me to come to the office. I might not even come for an interview, right? So it's just the way it is, right? It's just because of the fact that I know that this is obtainable in tech. I know that, okay, fine. I wanted that freedom. I saw my friends do it. I wanted that freedom. What would actually make you a professional? I've seen people that within 6 months, they've been able to do what people do in their 2 years of careers in tech. So it depends on you. It depends on you. Are you comfortable with where you are? These are questions you ask yourself. Are you comfortable with where you are? Are you comfortable trekking or taking boats? Are you comfortable with taking boats or probably driving a car? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, right? Do you want to travel abroad? Like, you need to, it depends on how serious you want to take your life at the end of the day, right? Do you want to be successful? Like, for me, sometimes I imagine some certain things whereby probably in 10 years time or 5 years time, I get to write down how I would like to be introduced when I'm coming to give a speech. You get. So sometimes I read these things and it motivates me. What's the kind of person you want to be at the end of the day? So that's what would actually propel you, right? So is there a particular person you're looking up to in the industry? Is there a friend of yours that is really successful that you want to be like? What were the things he or she did? Right? These things would actually propel you. But I would be lying to you if I actually tell you that there's a particular period of time that you could go from being a novice to actually a professional. Anybody that's telling you that is not telling you the entire truth, right? So it still depends on you, right? For instance, I'll give you an example. For me, I've had instances when I started learning design, I was using a laptop. I bought the laptop 35K, right? And the laptop was a desktop laptop, right? So you have to plug it. There has to be lights. If there's no lights, it's over. But that didn't stop me. I had to go to places where I could find lights and beg people to charge. When I charge, I start designing or I start doing what I'm doing. Because at the end of the day, I had to, like, it was just up to me to say enough is enough. Do I still remember those periods? Yes. And can I ever go back to a 35K laptop? I don't think so. You get. So it depends on you. It depends on you. Like, for me, I would advise you take up the job, Then while in the job, research other opportunities. When they actually match your strengths, move to them immediately. Don't waste time. You have to be very decisive.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think that's all the questions for we have today. Or does anyone else have any other question? Okay. So my takeaway from this, Anthony, first off, thank you for a wonderful session. Really, really insightful. Really insightful. Today I actually learned
Okay.
to be a logical thinker, not just thinking with my emotions, but being a logical thinker when it comes to the job aspect of my life, and being self-aware enough to know the set skills I have within me, and being self-aware enough to ask myself, what am I good at? Asking people, what do you think I'm good at? Just to know my strong areas and other aspects about myself. Thank you so much for that. And just say thank you to, I would like two other people on this platform to appreciate Anthony by saying what they learned from this session.
Okay. Anthony, thank you very much for the session. It was wonderful. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we
Yeah, Anthony, thank you for the session. I really learned a lot of things,
Okay.
like knowing yourself. Because I'm sure I
Okay.
don't think that's someone that can sit down and be writing too much. So I need to find a set skills that will work for me. I really enjoyed the class actually. Thank you very much.
And
You're
please
welcome, man.
give
You're
us
welcome.
your name on LinkedIn.
Okay. I mean, like, I think when you see my name is just the same everywhere. Like every platform, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, any platform at all is just the same, right? Anthony Aga, AGAH. So you can chat me up, and then anytime we could talk, right? So but here's another thing. I mean it's okay. From the experience I've had, like a lot of people reach out that they want to get into tech, but when you eventually tell them to probably do a research on their own, or probably get back to you, or probably you send a couple of articles, they disappear. So these are things that usually happen. But I'm looking forward to just engaging with a couple of people and seeing how I could basically help in various ways. I don't mind mentoring a couple of people about that. That's if I actually have time. Like, of course, even right now, I have to make up for the time I'm actually using here at the end of the day. So at work. So, but at the end of the day, I have to, I don't mind mentoring a couple of people that reach out. I think Silva has my number if you want to. But then again, it still boils down to whether you reach out to me or not. Just try as much as possible to be serious about transitioning. I mean, within a year or 6 months, you forget about everything that actually made you make that switch, and it could be stories that you could laugh about. So yeah, that's just it. So just keep going. It's not going to be easy again, but just know you'll be fine.
Okay. Akpan Ikan has a hand
A question.
raised.
Okay.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I want to say a big thank you first to Wave Relief, because I think I graduated about 3 or 4 months ago, I think April or so. And the skills, the learning, the training actually really paid off. I thought that I was actually learning those skills or developing it for my business, but somewhere along the line, I got involved in having to coordinate my state, and those communication skills, problem solving, leadership skills all came to play. And it's presently on it right now, but it actually really gave me an idea to discover, my abilities, and gave me an opportunity to deploy it. So thank you very much, Wave Relief, for that. I also want to thank facilitator, Mr. Anthony, for a very straightforward and simple presentation. I love it, and I'm glad that and some of the skills you're talking about, especially the one that will keep you in, is something that one can develop, and which are some of the things I have seen in myself. But you made mention of data analysis or data analytic, an area in tech that one can develop or work or develop themselves or learn. So currently now there's something that popped up when you said that. And I was like, okay, aside using it or helping other businesses in data analysis, how can one start from, which particular website or training body, because you shared, can one start from? I don't know if I've put my question clearly. In the area of data analysis, if somebody wants to go into having to research on data and get data, be able to interpret it for maybe a business or a group of people, where do you start from? That's number one.
Okay. So where can you start with data analysis? First off, I think in the slides that I shared, there's Coursera. You can check out Coursera. There are various courses there. Utiva is a Nigerian startup, right? So they teach people data analytics from beginner to expert level. So you could start with, be it you want to learn R, SQL, Python, Excel itself, right? So you could start with any of that. Or you could also online, there are places you can learn for free, like DataCamp, right? Just go there, take a track, and then start learning for free. And then there is also is it? I can't remember. Okay, yeah, W3 schools, yes. So you can go there, just check out their curriculum, and then probably just start learning as well. So I think for you being good, or probably being able to make informed decisions with regards to data, I think it takes time. It's something that you need to learn the basics first, then worry about that one later. Once you're done, once you get the foundation solid, once the foundation is actually solid, you can just grow from there, right? So I think that's just basically it. So just go to any of these online places whereby you could just have, and the amazing thing about online courses is that aside from giving you a certification you can put on your LinkedIn, there's an organized way of teaching, right? So they need you to understand A before you go to B. If you don't understand B, you're not going to C, right? So there will be assessments. So unless you're probably not learning well enough, or you just don't want to learn. So it's very much structured, and it's something you should probably just look into. You should also look at, I mean, that could work. And then with regards bringing it back home to Nigeria, you could just learn at UTIVA. UTIVA is a training institute for tech people. So one of the things that actually helped me in my career as well is that I learned in one of these Nigerian training institutes. And what that does for you is that other people from other companies that are already in tech, they're already there just to actually upskill themselves. So they could become your friends. Some might choose not to be your friend, it's fine. So, but interact with them, have a couple of people that you can ask questions or you could reach out to, what are you learning at the moment? I mean, that might not make sense at the moment, but later it might actually start making sense so that you could have a physical feel, right? Although it's remote, it's online. I think they organize some physical meetups whereby you guys get to be taught in class and every other thing. So I think it's something you should look into and then see.
Okay, thank you. The
welcome.
second one, when you started, you spoke about crypto. And you made mention about Binance and all that you kind of connected, excuse me, with that area of tech. And that is something that keeps popping up at different areas, around my sphere or the people that, I come in contact with. But basically, it's mostly about trading, coins and all whatnot. And in fact, I believe people have decided to use it as a way of helping other people who want to invest their funds, and then instead of keeping it in the Nigerian market where the value of currency is going down, they kind of set it up in a way where they manage people's funds, in such a way that those funds, instead of sitting down there, they're able to use it and manage it so that it's bringing in some kind of income for you. So I want to know, because I know you said you were connected with that aspect of, the tech side, the crypto space side. So if someone is coming in, to, like, say, a newbie, which area, or would I say that somebody who doesn't have the technical skill or the coding or anything related to that, at what area can one specialize as a newbie, in that aspect of that crypto space?
Okay. In that aspect of crypto space, so you mean, is it with regards to working in a crypto startup? Is that what you mean? Or just learning about crypto? I'm just trying to understand the question better.
Okay. Basically, most time crypto space is always more of a financial aspect. It's just an alternative for
Akwanika, please, if you
Yeah.
can keep your question straight to the point, I think it will be helpful, right? And as brief as possible so that we can take other questions as well, right? Yeah, just straightforward, and because I think I kind of understand what you're saying, but he just wants to clarify if you're talking about starting from the start, like you're just getting into the crypto world, tech world, or you just want to know about crypto. So you can answer the question. I think that speaks to where people can start from as well, the questions on the chat box.
Okay, when one can start from, let's say from the crypto space, just from the startup.
Okay, from a startup perspective. Okay. First off, I think for you to get into the crypto space, with regards to startup, although what we call it in tech is Web3. So I don't know whether a lot of people here are actually conversant with that Web3. So it has to do with decentralization and all that. So you need to really understand and aside from understanding crypto itself, because now you want to work in a startup that is Web3 or crypto based, you need to understand cryptocurrencies itself, you need to understand decentralization. There are a lot of resources you need to read because you need to understand how things are built on the blockchain. It's like blockchain technology. Sorry. I'm on a call. I'm on a meeting, babe. Hello, can everyone hear me? So, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
Okay,
we
so
can.
okay, so I was saying that you have to how do I put it? You need to understand the fundamentals of Web3, the protocols, layer one infrastructure, layer two infrastructure. You need to understand things like proof of work, proof of stake for Ethereum and every other thing. So you need to like deep dive into that. You need to also understand the high performing stable coins, the low performing stable coins, the shit coins. You need to understand, like just understand those basics. Then you can
Anthony, you're muted. We can't hear you anymore. Hello, Anthony, you're muted. We can't hear you anymore. I don't think you can hear us. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but we can't hear Anthony.
Yes.
Yeah, he's muted. I don't think he's aware. Anthony. Oh. Is he on the call?
He's on the call, but
I
he's
think he's still
muted.
responding to the question because I can see you need to and he's looking at the camera. Anthony, can you hear us? Sipia, please want to call him directly.
Okay.
Just to respond to your question where he's coming back to us is, I think most of these things we just need to do research and know where to start from, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Or you can reach
So
out to Anthony
if
directly.
you who's speaking, if you're doing those free courses, you see they always have for starters, for beginners. So they always encourage you and direct you on how to go about it, right? I know it's a very broad thing. IT is broad, especially if you decide which path you want to go. So it's just researching and then being directed even by the different course providers on how to go about learning it. And then I know they have for start you see Bitcoin or whatever for beginners, then you see intermediate, you see so just different levels and then you go on it. But like Anthony keeps saying, it requires a lot of reading and research and just being dedicated to really want to go that way. I think that also speaks to the next question on the chat box, which is for a beginner, where do you start from? You start from the start. You decide what exactly you want to do. Please can Sylvia, have you called him? He's still speaking. You decide what you want to do, whether it's data analytics, whether it's a crowd guru, whether it's um, solution architects. So there are different ones. You just decide which one you want to do, where you feel your area of strength and interest is, and then you start from the start, which is beginners. There's always the beginners level. There's beginners, there's intermediate, and then there's the higher one. I hope that
Advanced.
answers that question on the chat box as well as Akwanika's question. Akwanika, you seem to have a lot of experience about this thing you're asking. That's interesting. Yeah, thank you. Let's just wait
Yeah,
for
I'm a crypto enthusiast, so
I
a
can
number
hear
of
it.
things he has said, a number of things he has said, I have that foundation on it. So, but it was like, you know, my husband will always tease me. He said, "You have so much knowledge. What are you actually using it to
I'm going to
do?"
bring you on board
So,
someday to take a session on it then. You can't just have it and store it in. You have to share. Thank you so much for your question. Anthony, are you back? I think we should be wrapping up. Is there any other question? You know, those materials that he put out there, let's just explore them, you know, just do some, just check them out. It's always very direct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm back.
All right. Welcome back. So I sort of
Yeah.
responded
So
to where you stopped and concluded, I think, but you can confirm if the questions have been answered, both the one on the chat box and Aquanic.
okay. Okay. That's fine. Sorry about that. So I can't hear you. Okay. For someone new, where can I start from? You can start from anywhere. Start from reading an article about anything you're interested in tech first. So know whether you're good at it, then you go forward. So, but then, like I said, the resources I shared, like those websites, I mean, like, to be honest, right? If you're really interested in tech, if you're on this call, you should have gone through all those things, all those websites by now. If you're interested in tech and you'll be searching for the things you want to do, it's all there. Everything is online. So whatever I want to do, be it from zero to hero, it's there. Every Coursera, Udemy, all those places, you can find them there, and you can pay for like 3-5 or stuff. I mean, like a lot of people here spend 3-5 on calls, calling people that are not meant to call, right? I mean, people that are not going to add value to their lives, right? So use that 3-5. Don't call that person. Register for those courses and do it. Help yourself, right? I'm just saying, right? So because that's the truth. So, but those resources, everything there, you can literally learn anything. You can even see something new that is not even applicable yet in Nigeria, but is being well sought after abroad, and you can start learning it there. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's just it.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. I guess that's the end of the session to participation. Okay, and also for those of us that have not dropped in our name, phone number, and network provider, please do so in the chat box. Once again, thank you all for joining this session.
Okay, can I just add something?
Thank you for having me.
You drive us away. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Thank you, Anthony. I'm really grateful that you took out time to facilitate this session. It's amazing to see and to be part of your growth journey. Yeah, it's always something I'm proud of. So just like Anthony, yeah, like he said, you have to be interested and put in the work in whatever you're doing, because a lot of people show interest, but when it's time to start the work, then the person who is meant to be coaching them or mentoring them is the one chasing after them. That's not how it happens. In most cases, if we have realized, like he also mentioned, if you want to go into tech, you should have started reading. Tech is almost self-taught. So it's pretty you putting in time, researching with materials and resources, going through these materials and these service providers that provide the information that you need, and then applying them, reading them, studying them, and taking the exam. You don't go to school to learn it pretty much. You can, but you can actually learn it in your sitting room, from your bedroom, from wherever, and you become very good at it. So if you are really interested in it, then put in the work that needs to be put in. Then you can now start admiring, or you now become that big boy and that big girl that you see and admire. They've put in the work behind the doors, you know. They've burned a midnight candle, but you won't know that part. What people see is just the shining light that comes out of it. So I wish us all the best as we transition if we want to, and then we take time to learn more about what we want. Just identify what you want to do, the area of interest, what you think you'll be good at, the area you want to focus on, the problem you want to solve. Because tech is majorly, for me, solving problems. They solve all kind of problems from every aspect of life, right? So just think of the problem you want to solve. It can be a school problem. Well, how do I help students to learn XYZ without going to the classroom every day, or study while they're at home over the weekend? So it can be anything. Even market women, how do I improve technology or whatever that helps them communicate or get their produce or do blah 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 without asking to travel, just by clicking on this button, you know. So you can decide what it is you want to solve, and then you start it off from there. So with that, I say thank you. Have a blessed day, and thank you so much, Anthony. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, everyone, for connecting. Yeah. Sylvia, over to you.
Is that a buy?
Okay.
Can we leave the meeting now?
Oh,
Yes, you
yes,
can leave
please.
now.
Bye-bye,
Okay.
everyone. Yeah. Please, we'll be reaching out to you. We'll send you your
Bye.
credits. Just have patience with us. Be patient with us. Yeah.
Okay.
Try to replace 15 people. Yeah. Anthony, have a nice day. Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone. Take care, Bay. Take care, Sylvia. Bye.